I've been in this game for a little while. Let me tell you, I study successful people all the time. The people that God has shown me is success God's way, not what we think is successful. No, no, no. We are on our way. I am on my way. I'm not there yet to becoming the success God has for me, but I've achieved so much as it is because when we are in tune with what God has for us, there are many successes along the way. Yes, just stepping up as well. And when you are doing the work will the work will be able to prove that you are the real deal. You can't fake this stuff. You can't fake it at all. All right. Yes. Some people who never gave up, who were really formidable, who were impactful leaders and successful people in the Bible were Moses and Esther, two of my favorite people I love to study in the Bible. They never gave up at all. And I want to read some scripture to you regarding Moses. Okay, regarding Moses. Okay, let me read that right quick because it really is power in the word of God. Where are you getting your power from? Just curious. Okay, so here it is. By faith, when grown, Moses refused the privileges of the Egyptian royal house. He chose a hard life with God's people rather than the opportunistic, soft side of soft life of sin with his oppressors. He valued suffering in the Messiah's camp for far greater than Egyptian wealth because he was looking ahead, anticipating the payoff. By an act of faith, Moses turned his heel on Egypt, indifferent to the king's blind rage. He had his eye on no one, he had his eye on the one no one can see, and kept right on going. By an act of faith, he kept the Passover feast, sprinkled blood on the Passover, sprinkled blood on each house, so that the destroyer of the firstborn would not touch them. That's Hebrews 11, verses 24 through 28. Moses was the man. He was indeed. Because, guys, there are many reasons, but because he was really in tune with what God was telling him to do. Are you? We must keep at it. And and this should really be on my list, but you know me, I give you bonuses all the time. Yes. One of the things that we are letting get in our way, ladies, is a spirit of competition. That's huge. That's stopping so many of us. Stay in your lane. And when God tells you to look there, to look over there, that's what you do. Some of you, some of us guys, we're coming across as just ineffective because we're not doing what God told us to do. And the quality in which we're doing it is extremely low. And that's a problem. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. Just trying to help. All right. All right. So I'll start with obviously number one and the 10 things that successful people do. All right. We're going to go through this relatively quick because, as you know, I'm always having somewhere to go. Okay. So number one is unwavering belief in themselves and their abilities. Really, in tune with what I just finished saying, they don't even come close to thinking they have any competition. They don't. And neither do you. Let me reiterate that. You do not. Stay on what God has you on. Stay narrowed in that vision, the destiny, the mission He has you on, the people to serve. Keep showing up to do that, and you win. You will. You might say, well, I'm not winning now, Sharon. That's okay. Because as I said, I think yesterday, and yes, one of yesterday's post on my Facebook group, Women of Movement Global on Facebook, was that, let me tell you, when you stay with it, you're going to start small. And that's good because that's the way it's supposed to happen. Yes. So successful people whatever God deems as success. Let me reiterate that. They believe in themselves. They believe in what Psalm 139:14 says, that they are fearfully and wonderfully made, that they know full well. God has told them that. They believe in what he has put in their heart, and nothing can stop them. No place, no person, no thing, period. They are unwavering in that. They have self confidence, self belief in a humble way. They're not trying to ask for permission from anybody. They're not making any apologies, and they're not trying at all to go with the crowd because they know that they have a bigger mission. It's not like they don't think that they can be that anybody can help them. No. We know people can help us. We solicit help. We want help. Yes, I just got into a coaching program yesterday. I'm excited about it. Oh my gosh. Yes. I hate to be out there all alone by myself. But, and as leaders, as speaker leaders, there comes a time in our lives when we feel alone. We may even be alone. We may feel isolated. We may be separated. Guys, that is necessary for God's development. You understand? It doesn't matter if people don't understand you. God gets you. And when God gets you and you are in tune with him and where he's taking you, the people will come. Yes, there are people right now waiting for you. They're out there waiting. Like when I joined this coaching program yesterday, let me tell you, I was looking. I was out looking. Now, let me just say this. I wasn't going to get with anybody. That's for sure. There's some people on some weird stuff. And I was like, no, if you don't know where I'm going, if you don't get me, if you don't understand where God is taking me, and you're not speaking to that, you're not my coach. Your program is not for me. See, when people come into the speaking club, guess what? We get to know them. And if it's not a match, it's not a match. But typically it is. You understand? Yes. Same thing with the academy. Same thing. It's got to be a match across the board. Yes. So successful people believe in themselves. They carry a godly confidence and they cannot be stopped at all. It doesn't matter. The fear that creeps up every now and then that they don't allow to live in them, it comes and goes because we're human. The criticism comes with the territory, cause and effect. I wrote a blog post on that. If you want to see it, you want to read it, has a worksheet as well. Actually, a 3-page worksheet is wonderful. Yes, because I want to help us. But it's womenofmovement.org/blog. Take a look. Yes, you can and will make it if you follow some of these traits. You don't have to do them all, and you don't have to do them. I think really we will get to all of them eventually, but and you don't have to do them or try them all at one time. Start where you are. Yes. And you will create, you will innovate, you will cultivate, you will cherish your brand. Some people are watching everybody else live their brand deals and live their brand experience. And you, I'm talking to you, you have more going for you than they do regarding what God placed in your heart. For whatever reason, I don't want to get into the reasons why and all of that. It's another message. And you are letting the fear, the anticipation of fear, and the discomfort, the uncomfort, the fear of criticism stop you just like I did. I did that so much before I started my blog. You know my signature story, my first blog that I did in 2013. I have another one that I just started a few months ago, right? I was so afraid to put myself out there and video and audio and everything, creating all this that God has in me, has, will always have. Yes, in me. He placed it there and I wasn't using it. Because what? A bunch of chicken heads and chicken littles? What? Listen, listen. I want you to go there faster than I did. Go where? Go to your next level. Okay? Yes. All right. Number two, failure is an option. What? What? I used to always say failure is not an option. Failure is not an option. Failure is an option. And I was afraid of failure. I wanted to do everything just right. So I got all this equipment when I was doing my audio and my videos and all of this because I was like, I'm not going to do it unless I got this in line and this in line and this in line. And guys, I already had what I needed. I had something called a cell phone, and they are better and better today. Now, it doesn't mean that we can't go with the best equipment, but there's a time and a place for all of that. Yes. So I went forth and I stopped being afraid because I said, God, you have this thing you put in me to help women speak with confidence because I was afraid to do it, even though I knew from an early age I was always a speaker, I was a communicator, I was a writer, I was a reader. Those things came very easy to me and still do. Now, numbers, that's another story. I got to work at that. That's not a natural thing for me. It's a natural thing for some of you. But are you teaching other people what God placed in you to do that you love to do? So I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I remember just sitting in front of my computer one day and I said, I'm going to start my little blog spot blog. I have my little links going from here to there. I taught myself a lot and here we are. And there we will be. Yes, remember, it took Esther a year of preparation. So don't worry that you are in an uncomfortable spot right now. It is for your growth. It is about what are you doing with that time. Don't worry about dim over there and dim over there. Remember? All right. Okay. Number three, failure is simply a stepping stone to progress. Yes, they already know that. Remember, failure is an option, right? And guess what? Failure is going to happen because we have to know what works and what doesn't work. If we don't know that, we will not be failing, quote unquote, forward. As John Maxwell, I do believe he coined that phrase. He has a book about it. Yes. So we have to get ourselves out there and all the mistakes we make and say, oh, you know what? That doesn't work. Oh, this thing right here, I'm going to stay with this right here. Yes. But the only way we'll know is to do. Why? Many reasons, but namely, faith without works is dead. Come on, James 2, verses 17. Yes. And 2 verses 14 through 17 speaks of having this gift in us that we don't want to share with anybody else, that we don't want to help anybody with. Guys, we got to stop. We got to stop and we got to get out there and stay out there. It doesn't matter the external stimuli that's trying to come in between us and our goals. Don't let it stimulate you. If it's negative, you keep moving. Yes. And number four, they do not let setbacks deter them from their goals. They don't. Some of you, some of us, we had some hard things that happened in our lives that affected us. Oh my gosh, the pain was intense. And if we're not careful, especially me, I'll start with myself. If I'm not careful, I could go back there. I don't want to live there anymore. Yes, it's helping me help you when I start talking about things that happened to me. Okay. Yes, it's helping me help you. My signature story is when I lost so much that I had when I was in the Air Force. Had a nice house on base, had a lot of material things, had a lot of stuff going for me. Yes. And then I got out and lost everything. Was asking people to borrow rent money. Yes. Felt like a failure as a person and a failure as a mother. And so many people were talking about me like two dogs. Yes. So called close people. That's all right. That's okay. Guys, listen, I'm not perfect. Neither is anybody else. We got to forgive. We got to forgive. It's all good. Because guess what? Let me talk to the Davids out there. David's family hated him, except his mother. Okay. Esther, when she was getting herself ready to marry the king, she didn't know she was going to marry him, but she was focused on marrying him, was hated among the other women. Yes, Moses, his family hated him after he started saying, I'm going to help the underdog. I'm going to help my people. Moses thought he was Egyptian. He was raised in royalty. He was a prince. Yes. But when he saw the Jews, the Israelites being mishandled and misused, he said, this thing is bigger than me. Yes. That's what I just finished reading you. Hebrews 1, verses 24 to 28. Hebrews 11, excuse me. Yes. Who are the people who are being abused, who are being looked down upon, who are ready for extinction and annihilation, like the people Esther helped? Esther didn't have any friends or family, really. Yes, because she was an orphan. Mordecai, her uncle, was the one who raised her. And that was her guidance, though. She listened to someone. How many of us are listening to anybody? Some of us don't listen to anybody. We can't tell anybody. Nobody can tell us nothing. You know what, guys? I don't want to be that person. And honestly, I don't want any friends around me, anybody around me who does not listen to wisdom, who say, I'll take my chances. I'm just going to listen to myself. What? Left to our own devices, we're dangerous. Oh my gosh. I could not imagine going through life and going through my business without people helping me. This is why I've made the real estate mistakes I've made in my past, is because I didn't have the right people around me, number one. And number two, I didn't know how to listen to those people. Well, I was listening to those people, but they weren't the right people. Big mistake. So the next time around, I'm getting, even if I have to hire a real estate coach, I don't know, I don't care. You might say, well, you have a realtor, Sharon. Like I said, I need to hire somebody who's in it for me. And sometimes there are certain people, doesn't matter their position, they're not in it for us. You got it? So, and keep going. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what, Sharon, as I've continuously said. This, really honestly, this message could be, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is what God said and says about you and your gift that he's placed in your heart. That's what matters. The mundane, the nonsensical, the all of that, all of this, guys, keep looking forward. Keep looking towards heaven. Come on, somebody. Come on. Yes. All right. And number 5, they have resilience. They're like, I'm bendable, I'm flexible. If that doesn't work, I'm going over here and I'm going to stay in the one area, the one niche, serve those people that God has me to serve. I'm not going to be changing like the wind and saying, oh, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. There's some people, their brand changes every few months or every year. They're here today, gone tomorrow. Guys, we don't believe the Lord when that happens because he's not fickle all over the place like we are. Okay. He's not scatterbrains like humans are. Oh, so you want to be successful? I want to be successful because where I am now, God has so much more and he has so much more for you. Stop giving up. Stop listening to people who are not in your corner, who are saying one thing, but believing another thing because they don't want you successful. They want you where they are. Listen, you have people around you right now who are not feeling you. Let me tell you why. Because you're starting to elevate. And when you start to elevate, hear me, because you got to get used to this, all right? When you start to elevate, people will see what they're lacking. It's like when they look at you, they're looking at themselves. Number for a number of reasons. Number one is that they're still comparing themselves to you. That's a big mistake. And number two, they don't feel adequate. They don't feel like God is going to do it for them too. So they just gave up. They're just living a mediocre life. And I'm not saying that we have arrived because let me stress, we have not. We're on our way too. but they don't even believe more is for them. I downloaded the Hadassah Codes, and it's by Bishop Wayne Malcolm. It's a really great course. And he talks about marketplace ministry all the time. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. However, though, guys, kingdom impact is. And by the way, we can be impactful on a 9 to 5. In fact, we should, because wherever we are, if God is in us, everyone else, when I say everyone, whatever that means, is going to see the God in us. Yes, but we have to show up and show up correct. And we can start there, but that's not the end all be all. But for some, they're like, this is it for me. No, it's not, because God has placed more in our heart than that. However, it could be to jump off to many great things, but just don't stay there. And if you're like, well, Sharon, I love my job, I love my job, then elevate in said job. Excuse me. Elevate in said job. That means don't just stay on the bottom, because nobody's impacting us there. All right. And again, he talks about that in this course. I love it. I love what he's saying. Yeah. Okay. Number 6 is they persevere in the face of adversity. Who are we talking about? We're talking about successful people, success God's way. Okay. Not evil's way. To some people, we're looking at as successful. God didn't sanction a lot of things they're doing. But that's, again, that's another message. All right. So success God's way. What do successful leaders and speakers do? To next level, to elevate, to be promoted. And when God promotes you, no man can demote you. All right. Yeah. So they persevere in the face of adversity. What does that mean? It doesn't matter what's going on. Remember, I said this this message could be called "It Doesn't Matter." It doesn't matter the negativity that's happened to them, that's happening to them now, that will happen to them. Or I should say, you know what? The challenges, the negative things as well. Okay. Yes. And the challenges, the roadblocks, the obstacles, the things that come to us. It doesn't matter what those are. We persevere, we're determined, we push through regardless. That's what that one means. Let your past be a stepping stone to your future and the people who are waiting to hear your voice. They're searching. Remember, this code, this Hadassah codes, I downloaded, the course I downloaded, it wasn't free. I did pay for it. How many of us want to do that? Okay. And it was worth that. It's worth double what I'm getting from it. I'd say 5 times, really. Okay. Now, let me just say this. The reason I forgot the point I was, oh yeah. Okay. The Hadassah codes. When I downloaded this, oh, I forgot the point I was trying to make. All right. Maybe it'll come back. I forgot. All right. Anyway, after this, just put it in the chat, and then I'll just put it in the chat. Put in the chat now if you're watching this what I was going to say, what I was saying before that, and it'll come back to me. Let's see. All right. Oh my gosh. Yes. The imperfection of it all. The imperfection of it all. Yeah. You guys watching, put something in the chat for your girl. What was I saying? All right, guys, let's move on to number 7. They're not afraid to take risks. This is one of my favorite right here, because we may see an opportunity. I remember I used to be afraid. I was petrified. Yes. Anyway, now when I see something, I'm like, Lord, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it. I'll pray. I'll talk to the Lord. I'll talk to other people I need to talk to. Right. And I'm like, yeah, this is what's up. I'm going to shoot my shot. Let's get it. Yes. Because Proverbs 18:16 says, my great old gifts that God has placed in me, my sanctioned blessings, the presence he put into me will make room for me. And they will bring me in front of important people. They will give me a seat at the table. Come on, somebody. And they will give me entrance into the room. I already know that. And he'll do the same for you. Yes. All right. Let's go to the next one. Number 8, they're consistently stepping out of their comfort zones. They may do something that may be uncomfortable, but they're like, I'm going for it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It doesn't matter if people don't understand me. I'm used to that. I'm used to being in the field like David was with all the animals, the lions, the sheep, the bears, just wrestling. Yes, that's why with that sling and arrow, one shot, boom, David took out the giant. Won't God do it? He will do it. Yes, that's David in the Bible. All right. So do something different. It might be uncomfortable. It might be scary. Get the right people, places, and things around you and go for it. And stop talking to the wackety whack, afraid kitty cats, chicken littles, chicken heads that are talking, trying to talk you out of it, but in the back channeling people for the hookup. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the same thing I would tell my students, and I would tell my kids, "Oh, you playing around? Are you playing around? You running your mouth? You're laughing at everything like so and so is, but so and so is emailing me. So and so is catching me in the hallway or between classes to ask if I got his or her work. Yeah, in fact, they have A's and B's. You had D's, C's, and D's and F's trying to keep up with so and so. And it's the same thing with us trying to keep up with the C, D, and F students. They ain't doing nothing. Hmm. And number nine, they understand that growth and success comes with next level. Or excuse me, they understand that growth and success comes with pushing through for next level. They understand that when as they have to push through, they might have to spend some time, money, and effort, or not might. Oh my gosh, that is a misspoke. They will. They will. But the might comes in when I say, as you're doing that, right? As you're continuing to do that, you will get blessings. Yes. Yes. All right. And then number 10 is they speak and to the right people, they're in the right programs, and they are really committed and consistent to those programs. And that's what's up. They don't stop and go, stop and go. Remember, I was saying, and I think a video before this, that people can say one thing. I can say one thing wrong in this video, which I don't think I did, but you may think I did. And you were like, I'm out of here. And I'm not going to, you know, all of that. Okay. Who's lost? Guys, it doesn't matter what we're listening to. And we could be listening to people we really like. We won't agree on 100% of the things they have and that they say. We won't. But what is their values? What's the foundation of their values? Are they throwing us off and leading us to the enemy? Or are they still in God's camp, kingdom building? If so, we have to put on our big girl pants and say, I'm staying with this, Lord, and stop getting offended over every little thing because we're never going to grow like that. Okay? So you got to push through the boundaries for growth. You got to push through. And you have to have a relentless drive for success. You have to be determined to do it and be willing to do the work. It doesn't matter how you're going to have to make adjustments. That just comes with the territory. When you see somebody successful, they've done all of these things. Yes. So, guys, success can happen to us and through us if we're willing to never give up. Yes, we never give up. I say, go for it. I say, learn to be better speakers, better leaders, better communicators. And that is one of the things that God has sanctioned the gift He's put in me to do for Christian women. Yes, even if you're not a Christian, come on board. Come on board with us. We'll help you in that area. Yes. I mean it. The speaking club is like that. We have so much support for people. Yes. And guess what, guys? One of the things I have that can help you in these areas that I talked about is the monthly speaking masterclass, which, by the way, is going on. It's happening tonight. It's going on behind the scenes as we speak. Yes, yes. It's happening, guys. And it's every first Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Now, some of you are like, oh, I can't make it. I can't make it. I'm busy doing this. Guys, number one, We also have office hours. Okay. Now, something I'm adding in, and I'll talk to the women tonight more about that. Yes. And we have a coaching segment right after the monthly masterclass. And this is something that you'll have to go all in on. What do I mean by that? As I said before, when you are in our certification programs, also when you're in our coaching programs, and definitely the master class is one of those things that again are going to help you with your confidence, your speaker brand, and your communication skills. Guys, you have to be dedicated to the process of improvement. So we give you practical exercises. When I say we as a business, women of movement, right? We give you practical exercises to do to become better, faster, and stronger. So don't join today and get out tomorrow. You got to stay with something long enough to see if it works. I see people, because I did it. It takes one to know one. And I see people giving up blessings all the doggone time because they didn't stay with it. I didn't stay with anything long enough in the past because I was like, oh, da 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 da, right? Yeah. So even though something is going to take work, you can do it if you stay with it, if you stay a part of it. And again, let me just say this to you: if anybody's coming to you with negativity, right? Especially if it's about somebody else, but it doesn't matter if it's about somebody else. It could be about a person, place, or thing. That is what's in them. When you leave the room, it's going to be about you next. You understand? So you got to isolate yourself from those types of spirits. And some of those spirits are coming from good old Christian women too, and men. Yes. So just because we have Christian by our name, it doesn't mean that we don't have something called running of the mouth, because we do. So what am I saying? Be careful who you let in your inner circle and your camp, even your outer circle. Just don't let those things come to you, okay? All right. Anyway, thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, this was a great conversation, wasn't it? I can't wait to look at the comments, to read the comments. How successful people keep going. And I should say, success God's way. So, guys, if you're interested in that master class, it is womenofmovement.org/speaking masterclass. Womenofmovement.org/speaking masterclass. Sign up, join now. It's a really small investment. It really, really is. And you're going to get a lot out of it because that's one of my learning styles. That's one of my love languages, I should say, as well. Giving, giving, and mo giving. Yes. All right, everyone. As I said, I got somewhere to be. I'll see you the next time around. Remember, we are Women of Movement Global on Facebook and womenofmovement.com, excuse me, .org. I'm Sharon, the faith coach. I'll see you the next time, everyone. You take care of yourself.